Claire was a beautiful dancer. She had great technique, lovely stage presence, and a real passion for the art. However, she had one major flaw.
Claire never warmed up before dancing.
Due to Claire's lack of proper warm-up before dancing, she's putting herself at a greater risk for a certain type of injury.
Muscle tear or strains refer to the loss of continuity between muscular fibers in a part of the body. These are the injuries Claire so frequently suffers from.
When Claire begins dancing without warming up first, her muscles are cold and don't have much elasticity as she needs to dance.
Therefore, when she begins to use these cold muscles to do split jumps or kicks, her muscle fibers in parts of her legs, groin, and bottom will split apart and leaving a gap that can produce scar tissue.
This is not only painful for the days and possibly weeks following the injury, but it causes long-term harm to the muscle, as when it produces scar tissue, it loses the efficiency of the muscle. There are two types of muscle tears: longitudinal tears and transversal tears. Longitudinal tears, also known as the tear of sport, is what Claire is suffering from.
Due to these tears, Claire will experience pain in the muscle, a functional loss of the muscular group that's been affected, and in some cases, some swelling. Claire now needs to treat these injuries by avoiding the exercises that caused the initial damage.
It is likely your doctor will recommend the RICE method.
Rest.
Ice.
Compression.
Elevation.
Oh, and don't forget those anti-inflammatories.
This is Claire 5 weeks later after allowing herself a sufficient healing period. She has now learned her lesson and is ensuring she warms up properly before beginning dance class. This is not only warming up her muscles to prevent further injury, it is also helping reestablish the elasticity of the formerly injured muscles and strengthen the area to recover some of the lost efficiency and security of the muscle groups she had originally injured.